Today's subject, which is why, again, here's my thing. And for those of you who know me really well, um, because our profession is not something that has a lot of entry barrier to it, as much as we'd like to think that it's normal and natural for us to, oh yeah, dude, you can't just call yourself an actor. I mean, you got to go to class. No, you don't. That's actually one of the important things that we have to recognize in our own selves, is that technically, no, you don't. This isn't getting a law degree or passing the medical bar or exam. It's not. So the truth of the matter is, you don't have to. And it does allow us to avoid what is today's subject, which is dedicated business time to pursue your career. Now, I say that, but also, as you guys are going to continue to see on the YouTube channel, I constantly conflate life with the business of show business because they have so many similarities. There are so many analogies. Of course, my favorite analogies being dating analogies. But the truth of the matter is, avoidance is a part of our life. I've had my taxes sitting out since January 15th. It's now February 18th. I still haven't done them. I will get to them at some point. But avoidance is natural. And one of the reasons why avoiding doing the business of show business is natural for actors is because we weren't told in grammar school, in junior high school, in high school, and you're not even told at the university Ivy League level that this is something that you're supposed to or may need to work into your life. And even if you're successful, even if you're one of those people, which I wasn't, who was lucky enough to go to a really high-end school, or you had friends, or nepotism, or you were just stunningly gorgeous at 22, whatever, who just walked into a terrific representative and started having legitimate actor activity right off the bat. The bottom line is, my man Woods, I got a shout out to Woody, who is my caddy in Bandon Dunes, great guy. Woody, you got to do that book. But Woody, I'm going to the Genesis Invitational today. I'm going to be out at Riviera. So if you catch me on screen, it's probably because I did something stupid. But I'll be out there today pulling from my man Xander Shoffley to play well because I have him in my pool. So you are stunningly handsome at 40. Yes, you are, Wood. So what I'm sharing with you guys is it's not uncommon for us to avoid stuff. That's normal. I get it. The problem is a lot of the stuff we sometimes want to avoid, let's say like taxes, what I said, there's a pretty solid consequence for that if you avoid that to that degree. The problem with the business of acting is there isn't one. I've been saying it for 3 decades and a year. You can't get fired from a job you don't have. So the bottom line is, guys, is that you can avoid doing the actor business part all the time. There's no requirement to it. What I'm sharing with you is the reality. Bottom line is, even if you're successful, there are still actor business things you have to do. That's why you guys gotta get on the YouTube channel, because in the process of the next 30 days, you're gonna see that entire channel change. I've already recorded 20 some videos. There's gonna be close to 40 on there by the time we just get to mid-March. So make sure you get yourself and other people on there. But the issue with dedicated business time is this. This is what Kevin learned. And what Kevin learned is what we all need to learn, which is about yourself. Because there's always the what, the why, and the how to anything. There's always that, right? That doesn't change. But the what changes. The why is because it's necessary. The how is a different subject. My thing about dedicated business time is the execution schedule. The way we tend to grow up, and I know everybody does it different, and everybody has a different childhood, and everybody learns different routines and habits. Totally get it. Down with it, understand. What I finally learned by the time I had started the Actors Network, back when I was, my late 20s, was I was doing the business of show business. And again, it was a different era. Understand that. There were no cell phones, the internet. I get it. But it doesn't really matter, because a lot of what goes on is we have physical routines and we have mental routines, and we have varying moods. And the truth of the matter is, if I listed every single thing ever that you could do, well, first of all, it'd be a really long list on the wall over here. But if I listed every single thing that you could ever do, every action, every little thing that you could do as an actor to pursue and maintain both setup and pursuit, the first IG Live that I did, all the setup maintenance stuff and all the pursuit stuff, and I put it all on a long list, I'm sharing with you right now, there's a natural place that you would be as an actor where some of that would never feel good. Some of that would feel good in the first third of the day, the second third of the day, and the last third of your day. And one of the most intelligent things that I can share with you, regardless of your age, is for you to recognize that you need to figure out your own personal rhythm about pursuing the business of show business. And I'll take something that most everybody does today, and I'm going to give you an example of it. There was a time back in the day when doing something at a certain time of day was maybe more logical or more necessary because we sent in 8x10s and 9x12 envelopes all the time, since I just did snail mail last week. That's different. Today we don't live in that world. Today we live in the electronic submission world. And so what I'm sharing with you is it's not my responsibility, nor should I be telling you when you physically, in the routine of your day, that's right, breakdancing, there we go, whee! In the routine of your day, in your mentality and your mood, I shouldn't be telling you when doing electronic submissions is the best for you. You need to decide that. What I'm sharing with you, oh my goodness, look, we got Aaron Wushu in the house. What's up, girl? Good to see you. What I'm sharing with you is that the bottom line is it may not be when you think. This is how we've been socialized, how our daily routine and culture goes, is you may suddenly realize, you know what, Kev? I'm in a better space appropriate to the task, to the thing you're doing for dedicated business time. I'm in a better place if I do electronic submissions at 9 o'clock at night. 3 days during the week and not on the weekends. I don't know, and I don't care. What I do know is the natural way we grow up sometimes is in direct conflict with the fact that we hate doing the business, and avoidance is easy because you can't get fired from a job you don't have. And so we never necessarily take the time to figure out of the stuff we need to do for ourselves as our careers, we have to do for our careers, and more notably, Kevin's point, learning how to want to do the pursuit stuff because you're so proficient at it. In the internet world we live in today, in the self-tape digital technology world we live in today, man, it's wide open. When you do that in your day is up to you. However, what I'm sharing with you is I'm using, by the way, you know I always got to point to a point and a thing. I'm using the word dedicated for a reason today because I was a Franklin Planner guy back in the day. And Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, right? Dedicated means you've put that in your book. We are the masters of our own destiny. I realize that an acting coach decides what time you're going to study with them. I get that. And I realize that whatever your side job is, they control that schedule as well. Okay, cool, full stop, put those 2 things aside. Just for shits and giggles. But the rest of your time, we are kind of, as actors, the masters of our own destiny. And what I'm sharing with you is because pursuing or dealing with, engaging with, planning, prepping, pre-production, execution of any form of the business of show business is something we don't want to do, you're going to have to schedule it and dedicate it, in my opinion, consistently to help yourself get it done. And what we tend to do, and this is my biggest thing about today's conversation, we all want to only discuss the sexy stuff. That's the business of show business. And trust me, guys, first of all, I use the word sexy all the time completely out of context. Yes, that's just one of my things. But at the same time, we tend to just fall into a trap of, well, this is business stuff. It's the business of show business. So this should be done between 9 and 5 or 8 and 4 or 10 and 6, whatever your sort of life rhythm is. No, that's right now, this is the great thing about the business. It doesn't matter what age you are. It doesn't matter how many credits you have. What matters is, how well do you know yourself? I've learned that there was a time in my life that I could only creatively write, I'm a Pisces, late at night. And then I learned as I got older, that shit actually changed for me. So the bottom line is, yes, Don, if you don't write it down, it doesn't get done. And that's what the word dedicated is for. See, some people have Google Calendar. It doesn't matter what you use. I use iCal. But you can see in my calendar by labels and colors the stuff that I put into my schedule ahead of time. And that's why I've always been the person who said there are things that we do that are dedicated, we do every week. And then the things are like we used to say in school that are electives, things that come in and out of our lives related to the business, like getting new pictures or cutting a demo reel, which I'm about to have to do, blah, blah, blah. But I'm just sharing with you that we used to live in a place, and I think most of us do, where we do stuff by a habit. And because the business of show business is still business, it's not the art of acting and playing in the sandbox. It's not the show fun, goofy part. And I am a goofball. We sometimes fall into the trap, and I did it too. That's one of the reasons why, guys, in my book, right there up on the shelf, it's one of the reasons why when I chose the 7 deadly sins as a baseline for The Actor Overcomes, the title of this show, one of the reasons why I chose the 7 deadly sins is because of them being a trap. I grew up in a very religious part of this country, in the South, blah, blah, blah. So I was making a little joke out of sins and traps. But letting your history of your life, the nature of your life be a routine for when you do business related to your acting career is a trap. Because it's a different type of business. There's a lot of similarities. Like I said, I'll draw analogies all day long to having to go do your taxes, go to the dentist, go grocery shopping, do tons of tasks and errands that are just like doing tasks and errands for the business of our careers. But the rhythm and the routine of that is likely to be different, guys, based on your physical, mental mood about your career. And I finally learned, oh yeah, I don't have to do that at 10:30 in the morning on a weekday. I could do that on Saturday at 8 a.m. I learned that there were tons of things, depending on what it was, in the to-do part of an actor's life for the business of show business that were not the same as doing my taxes. They were not the same as organizing my week. They weren't the same as sitting down to go online now and pay bills. It's a different mentality, man. And so one of the reasons why you'll see the titles of what I've done for the first 6, today officially is the end of the 6th IG Live. I'm putting them on the grid for now on the Kevinism at Instagram. So go over there, and if you don't follow me, make sure you follow me and get all your friends and get your enemies and the friends of your enemies to follow me. You'll notice there's a reason why those 6 are the way they are. And those of you who were members of the Actors Network, and there are a few people here who weren't, so that's awesome. I have a marketplace trademark for a topical discussion I did called The Actor Pie, which I invented, I think 26, 27 years ago. It's a different way of looking at time. But we have to identify what we have. And I'm sharing with you, you will not ever be able to get anything really done, especially when it's a want to or a need to. We'll find a way to get the have to stuff done. Like I have to do blah, we'll find a way. But I tend to kind of go towards the need to and the want to. But if you don't first figure out how much time you have, nothing gonna happen, y'all. I'm just sharing with you. My man Chaim Magnum is in the house. My boy from Lemon Lime. Look at you. Love it. Thanks for being here, bro. Hey, Mary Mo. Mary Mo just walked in. So ironically here at kind of just past the midway point, if you can't figure out or haven't figured out exactly how much time you have in your week to even put towards the business of show business, you're not ever going to get it done, man. I mean, I used to make a joke years ago, right? Okay, so you got to go with me in the Wayback Machine for all of you who are under a certain age. I would go to the gym, like a lot of us do, and I would see the workout boys, the serious workout boys, and they have one of those little baby memo pads. Remember the little things on a little spiral ring, and you'd flip it over and flip it over, and they'd carry it around in the back pocket because it was light and easy for their workout. And they had all the shit written down, man. They had it all written down. The machines, the part of their body they were working on, the day, how many reps they were doing, blah, 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 blah. It was very dialed in. Actors don't do that. Why? You don't have to answer the question. You have to answer it to yourself. Why not? And this is part of my point. If you don't figure out in your own life and schedule, I don't care when it is. I don't care how much time you have, and I don't care how you use the time. I'm sharing with you like any foundational philosophy and concept, especially when it comes to a part of our career and a part of our profession that we just can't stand. Guys, none of us want to do the business. I don't want to do the business. Trust me on the sunscreen. I would have really preferred that I just strolled into Hollywood and started booking jobs, and all I had to do was eventually just hire a business manager or some shit. And then we like to believe, since we have an agent in the house, we like to believe that's all an agent's job. No, it isn't. You can't put that on your representative. It is not their job to do your business. My first agent back in Atlanta leaned over her desk one day, and this is when I was young, and she scared the living shit out of me. And she had these glasses she had down here, and she pushed the glasses back up into her face, and she leaned over me. She said, "You better learn how to take care of your business." She pointed a finger at me. She was like my mom, right? And that was one of my first experiences of like, oh shit, this isn't all just playing the sandbox show. There's some stuff I got to be responsible for. Well, that's cool. But again, you're being responsible for something that isn't glaringly going to affect you. That's why I say you can't get fired from a job you don't have. You technically aren't going to have your actor card taken away from you because you didn't do a certain amount of hours in a week for the business of your career. That's why this is all self-mastery, y'all. It's what it is. But even still, you have to get it in the labyrinth of your life. Where does it belong? And that's why I use the word dedicated. Both you being dedicated to the business and also Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Where is it dedicated into your schedule? I don't care if you have 3 hours a week for it. I don't give a shit if you have 7, 17, or 27. I don't care. I'd never be able to do the Actor Pie. I'm going to do the Actor Pie on YouTube. I promise you. That's why you got to get all your people over to subscribe to the YouTube channel, because I'll do the whole thing eventually. But here on the IG Live real quick, I'm just telling you, the first thing you have to do is identify. That's why, again, I draw a lot of similarities. I've been saying this for 3 decades. In a 12-step program, what's the first thing? I mean, I have a lot of friends who are clean and sober. What's the first thing? Hi, my name is Bill W. and I'm an alcoholic. The first thing is acknowledgement. And the first thing you got to do about dedicated business time as an actor needing to do is you have to acknowledge, well, how much fuel do I have in the tank? How many hours in my week do I have to dedicate to the business of show business? You can work on creating more. That's a different conversation. That's step 2. That's the same as diet, right? That's the same as keeping yourself in shape. How much time are you going to dedicate? But what you have to start with the business of show business, is you have to, it's something we don't want to do. It's something people didn't talk to us about. You have to identify, man. You have to stand up and go, hi, my name's Kevin West, and I have 6 hours from Monday when I wake up to Sunday when I go to bed. I got 6 hours. Then you can start on a game plan. Then you can start figuring out what are the maintenance setup things, what are the pursuit things, are they need to, have to, want to. You can do all that. That's just like picking out which vegetables you're going to get, because you ain't getting them all. You're just going to get the ones that you need to, want to, have to. But yeah, no question, Will, 100%. But the first thing you have to do is, I want everybody post this live who was here, share it with your friends. I'm going to put it on the grid. Make sure you send people to it. The first thing you have to determine, y'all, is how much. I mean, this is why we have spotters at the gym, because we're pushing the envelope of like, you know what, this shit might just fall on my chest because it's a little bit too heavy. But we have somebody as a backup for when we start pushing that envelope. We don't have that as actors. And once again, since High Magnum is, you can't make your representative be your daddy, mommy, or your guard in your life. That's not their job. It's not even a manager's job. You have to manage the business of your career to a certain degree all the time. Even when you're uber successful, you do. It's just something we have to do, and we don't like it, and I get that. So since we don't like it, and again, here's the key: make sure you don't overdo it. I'm going to say this right now before we get to the end of 30 minutes. If you think you have 10 hours, you know what Kevin's going to say? Call it 8. Call it 8. Lessen it. Round down. Don't round up. Because we all waste time. It's totally cool. I waste time. And yes, we like to multitask. What's the thing we can do while we're folding clothes? Good example. A lot of us don't tend to always eat just sitting quietly. We tend to maybe do something else. We read something, or we may have we multi-stuff in lots of ways. That's cool. But when you're actually going to do a task for the business or show business, you probably can't be doing multi while you're doing that. That's why it's dedicated time, man. It's in a box. 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour. Maybe it's good for you to do 3 hours in one day. Maybe it's better for somebody else here to do 30 minutes 6 times a week. I don't know. And I don't care. What I care is that you know. What I care is that you dedicate it. What I care is that you plan it. What I care is that you identify based on the hours of the day and the day of the week where that's placed in your life and schedule, so that it is positive, healthy, intelligent, and that you have, my 3 favorite words, increase the likelihood that you'll do it. That's my whole thing. Because we like to pretend to ourselves, because we're in the pretend business, man. I love pretending. So I go to England and just talk like this a lot and believe that I'm actually from London, right? So we love doing that. I'm an idiot. But when it comes to the left brain, when it comes to getting shit done, I am dialed in, man. It's like I put it on my calendar and that's what I'm doing, and I'm going to do it for an hour. Whatever it is. Makes no diff, man. But if you don't know how much gas you have in your weekly tank for the business, you'll do it catch as catch can. You'll do it sporadically here and there. And what I've been trying to get actors to do for 3+ decades is the following. Don't make the pursuit of your career and the business of show business a project. This is my finishing salvo on this, guys. It's not a project. It's a routine, and it's woven into your life. That's what it is. Because this is what we used to do. When we used to mail pictures, back in the day, this is what I'd see actors do all the time. And I'd be laughing his ass off, right? I would see actors do this all the time. And I did it too, until I realized, oh shit, this is not really making any sense. You would hear an actor go, okay, so this weekend I got to get an agent. I am sitting down and I'm doing a mailing. And doing a mailing is the exact negative analogy I have for making it a project. And what people would do is they'd buy the casting director book. They used to get it Samuel French. And they bought the labels too. And they'd go home and they'd write all their notes. And they'd send 350 things on Monday morning. That's what they do. And they would vomit. That's what I call it. They'd vomit on the town in one clean sweep. And again, guess what would happen? First of all, you made a project, you made it an event in your life, and then you also put all your eggs into one basket, and you shot it off on Monday. And if somebody didn't get a meeting within 3 or 4 days, depression would set in. That's the nature of us. I watched this for decades, man. That's why I'm such an advocate of us. You do a little bit at a time. You do 3, 5, 10 mailings a week, nice and slow, every single week. Sprinkle, 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 sprinkle. Don't make the business a project. Identify how many hours you have, identify what it is, and then dedicate boxes in your schedule to get it done. That's what you got to do. Otherwise, it just won't get done. Had someone say this to me years ago about auditioning, and they were 1,000% correct. And it's hard for us early on, and boy, Chaim, boy, can you speak to this. You can't make an audition an event. You can't put more weight on it than it is. Because what will happen is you'll be busy trying to win the audition as opposed to just perform the work. The business is the same thing, y'all, as we get to 9:30. You can't make the integration of the business of show business an event or a project in your life, even if it's a one-time effort. It just needs to be something that you dedicate time for, and you weave in and out of your week 51 weeks or 50 weeks out of the year. I give you a week or two off, but that's about it. Okay? That's the key to this effort of dedicated show business time. We'll see you guys next week. Have a great weekend, y'all. Whee! Bye.